All right, guys. Haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought I jump back in. I just been working a lot, but my contract finally ended, so now I have some time. But yeah, let's take a look at this form questions. So this person was trying to use transform and constraint, and apparently it collapsed when he or she does the interactive playback and moves around. Let's take a look. He actually have a video, so we can kind of see what's going on here. I basically fast forwarded for you guys, and as you can see, probably down here, this is also a screenshot of what is happening. But basically, yeah, they just create a transform constraint and using the interactive playback. And while the playback is happening, they move the transform. So there you go. As you can see, I believe he's gonna zoom in, and you'll notice it's the point kind of sucked in together and then collapsed, right? So let's take a look. I'm going to try to reproduce it because, let's just make sure that what I'm doing is the same as getting the same result as what he gets. Okay, so I'm going to create a sphere, and I'm going to make it as a cloth. Then we will select these guys, create in constraint and transform constraint. Oh, it's kind of weird. Why did it pop up there? Okay, it's okay. Let's do let's extend our frame so I have more frame range to work with. Then we will do interactive playback, and then I will move it. So, right. So we're getting the same result. At least we know the problem is consistent throughout to for me and the person as well, right? And so the solution I found was to go to the preference, and you go to settings and animation and change from your evaluation mode from parallel to DG. Then you save it. And from there, you can rewind and you do interactive playback. Let me turn on my move tool, interactive playback, and then we'll move around. And now it's all good. So why is that? Well, I don't really have a detailed answer since I'm not part of the Autodesk team, but one of the comment was also mentioning that it seems like this only happens in Maya 2022 or later version, which tells me that there's a lot of legacy issues where I think it just simply Maya has been updating a lot, but N-Dynamic hasn't really been updated that much. I mean, there's update from time to time and version to version, but the core of the code is still have a legacy code, right? And so there were times when I was in my previous studio that we run into a lot of issues that I simply don't know what's happening. And I end up reading through all the release notes for every version of Maya. And one of the things I saw that affected nCloth was DG mode versus parallel mode. And we end up just switching everybody's Maya to DG mode, and then they started working. So yeah, it's a bit weird. I think this one's a bit tricky to find. I think normally people don't really run into these type of issue for a couple of reasons. Um, I think we don't really use transform node in production. I know it's probably pretty useful if you know how to use it, but generally we just don't. We either use, let's say, point to surface, component to component, or some other ones, but we never really use transform constraint because you end up have to constrain. Well, you end up have to parent this node, the in constraint to something else anyway, so you might as well just use point to surface, right? Uh, and secondly, we don't use the interactive playback either. I think it is very specific because even to say I would have uh, maybe we'll animate. See, make sure that I can. Okay, so maybe I'll key it. Make sure I am not. I think that might be okay. So let's rewind here, and even if we just go back to preference, and we can do parallel, right? So in theory, this is supposed to be breaking, but it doesn't. So if you animate and then just let it play, it's still gonna work. So there is obviously some other situations that the parallel DG mode does come in broken, I guess, or does affect it. But yeah, generally we don't use those features, is what I'm trying to say. So this is probably going to be rare for people that works in the production that comes up. But if you have whatever reason that your sim doesn't seem like doing the right thing, that's probably where the first thing I would just go to, just switch to your evaluation mode and see what happens. DG mode tend to be pretty safe. Parallel is faster. Obviously, we do want a parallel mode that have things like calculate, simultaneously, right? But yeah, anyway, so without rambling on too much, that's the solution. Hopefully that helps some of you guys for your projects or for your work, and then help you move on to your next stage. All right, so that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.